How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. We are back for another week, and I hope every single one of you have had a decent weekend. I know things are difficult, the weather's been nice and we're all stuck indoors, but I do wish you all well. Now, on today's show, we're going to be speaking about Liverpool and their recent activities because they've upset a lot of people, including myself. We're going to be talking about Manchester City's Kyle Walker, because he's another Premier League player that's let himself down big time. And we're also going to be speaking about Alexis Sanchez and whether he still has a career at Manchester United.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right. So the first place we're going to start is Liverpool, and I'm sure you all know the news by now. But over the course of the weekend, it was announced that Liverpool will be furloughing their non-playing staff, and they will basically be asking the government to pay 80% of their wages. So to you and me, they will be asking us to pay their wages, the taxpayer. What an absolute farce. The reason why the government set up this scheme was not for companies that earn millions and millions of pounds and are owned by billionaires. The owners of Liverpool should be ashamed. They are billionaires and they are asking the UK taxpayer to pay 80% of their staff's wages. The majority of the staff that they are talking about are probably Liverpool fans. You know, they got the opportunity to work for the club they love. And when times are hard and they need that bit of help, the club kicked them in the teeth. It's an absolute shambles. This ain't about players taking wage cuts or anything else. Let's get away from that. Despite what the government have gone round and said, and I've had this discussion over the course of the weekend, the government can sit there all they want and talk about Premier League players, you know, giving some of their wages up and everything else. But why are we only now talking about Premier League footballers? Let's look at some of the other big businesses as well. Look at McDonalds. They went and put all of their staff on this furloughing scheme and everything else. McDonald's earned more than Liverpool last year. So why is there not the big uproar either? You know, it's bad, full stop, period. Doesn't mean that Liverpool should get away with it because Ronald McDonald hasn't. But what I'm saying is all these big companies are just taking the absolute piss. All right, the government did not set up this scheme for the likes of them. They set it up for the people that really need it. The people that can't pay their rent, that can't pay their mortgages, that can't put food on the table for their children. The people that really, really need it. The people that are going to lose their businesses. All right, and like I said, this is about Liverpool Football Club. This is not about the supporters. Let's get that one thing straight from the very beginning. 99% of Liverpool fans that I've spoken to or have commented on certain posts that I've made in reference to this over the weekend are in full agreement to what I say. You know, it's embarrassing. How can you do that to your staff and expect the taxpayer, the government, to come and help you out? You know, what was the actual figure of profit that Liverpool made last year? Are you actually taking the piss? You look at the situation with Spurs, same thing again. Daniel Levy just got a £4 million bonus on top of his £3 million salary, and they're asking for handouts. Are you actually taking the piss? Seriously? You know, take some of that money and use it. Stop asking the taxpayer to help you out. Absolutely no chance. And I'll tell you one thing that I will answer right now as well, because this is something that I've seen a couple of people mention. I've seen them say, what if Arsenal do the same and it's announced in the next few days, because that's very Stan Kroenke-like, shall we say. I will go in on Arsenal just the way I'm going in on Liverpool and the way I went in on Spurs and Newcastle and anyone else that does it, because you shouldn't be. You should not be doing that. Multi-million pound companies that are owned by billionaires that are not even in this country. A lot of these owners, they're wherever they're from, in their big massive ranches and houses and whatever, and they're asking the UK taxpayer to pay their staff. You're taking the piss. Sorry, but no. And like I said, let's get it right. This is Liverpool Football Club. This is not the supporters of Liverpool Football Club. Yes, there's some out there that won't dare say a bad word about the club, might lose their privileges, might not want to say things in case it falls back on them. The club might not like certain fans saying certain things against them, you know? But the majority are in full agreement with what I've said. They're embarrassed. And Liverpool Football Club, you should be ashamed of yourself. All right? When we're going through the situation we're going through and the world is in need, you're there like this. Please, sir. Pathetic. Absolute shambles. And I hope the pressure makes them change their mind and that they actually decide to go and dig their hands in their pockets and pay the staff. Simple as that. Next piece of news involves Manchester City's Kyle Walker. And I read this story and I just think, what a prat. You absolute moron. Again, another footballer that's not listened to the government's rules on social distancing. First it was Jack Grealish, now it's Kyle Walker. And again, it's a player that only recently went on social media to talk about how important it was to stay at home, to save the NHS. And guess what Kyle Walker's been up to? I'll tell you what he's been up to. The England defender has apologised for his actions after it was widely reported he held a party at his home last week. Moron. I want to take this opportunity to issue a public apology for the choices I made last week, which have resulted in a story today about my private life in the tabloid newspaper. I understand that my position as a professional footballer brings the responsibility of being a role model. As such, I want to apologise to my family, friends, football club, supporters and the public for letting them down. There are heroes out there making a vital difference to society at the moment, and I have been keen to help support and highlight their amazing sacrifices and life-saving work over the past week. My actions in this matter are in direct contrast to what I should have been doing regarding the lockdown. You don't say, Kyle Walker. My word, the story is that he had a party and he had a load of escorts round there. I'll say that in the nicest way. Escorts. You use which term you want to use. What's the matter? Bit difficult in lockdown, was it? Needed to get your end away? What an absolute mug. Seriously, the people out there that are sticking to the lockdown have to stick to the lockdown. There's people out there fighting on the front line to save lives, you know, so that we can get back to normality a lot quicker. And there's Kyle Walker, Mr. Premier League footballer. I'm so sorry. You're sorry because you got caught. All right. You wouldn't be issuing an apology if you never got caught. You wouldn't have come out over the weekend and, you know, turned around and said, look, I want to make an announcement. I did something that I shouldn't have done this weekend. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Please forgive me. You know, you would have stood more chance of people actually going, wow, you know what, fair play, than the fact that you actually got caught out. And that's the only reason you're apologizing. Let's be honest. You know, your words are empty. It's empty, you know, apology. And it's as simple as that. Absolute brain dead. What an absolute mug. Last piece of news involves Alexis Sanchez. Now, of course, he is a Manchester United player, but he's on loan at Inter Milan, and it hasn't really gone according to plan. Hasn't really gone according to plan since Alexis left Arsenal. The grass is not always greener, is it, mate? Could have stayed and been a legend. But now, you look washed up. But does he still have a future at Manchester United? Old Trafford might be an easier environment to return for Alexis Sanchez at the end of his season-long loan at Inter Milan, compared to the Manchester United that he left in 2019. It's funny how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was criticised for saying Alexis Sanchez will be back at Manchester United this summer. On the evidence so far, he may have pushed things by claiming the Chilean will prove people wrong. But on the face of it, the story appears to be as follows. The player on loan has a bad time on loan, so returns to his parent club. You don't say. Not much would be written or said about it, were it not for the fact that it's hard to build a case to suggest Sanchez isn't the worst signing of the post-Sir Alex Ferguson era, and possibly a timescale stretching further back than that. Now, you know what? In that terms, I agree with that, because when he signed for them, we was all devastated as Arsenal fans. Manchester United fans were absolutely buzzing. Yeah, we bought Alexis. But you didn't get the Alexis that Arsenal got. You must have got his clone. All right? The only thing that you got that resembles to what he had at Arsenal are his dogs, Atom and Humber. That's about it. Sorry. The rest, shambolic. An ankle injury at Inter Milan has limited his first team opportunities there this season, with all roads seemingly pointing to the return at Old Trafford. And, you know, of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has spoken about that. United right now is a very different place to be, even compared to the club that Sanchez left to join Inter Milan on loan last season. I know Solskjaer himself considers his players are on a long journey and the destination is still some way off, but the mood has changed for the better. What Sanchez had to deal with first time round was the expectations that came with his signing and the money wrapped up in it. He had to contend with a manager who'd brought him to the club, which of course was Jose Mourinho, leaving, and a new boss with new ideas. So it's one of those. Will it work out? Will he be able to get, you know, his career resurrected under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? I don't think so. I think that Alexis is one of those players. He's so energetic, you know, like high octane type player, just that all action, ferocious, crazy type player that eventually you burn out. And I think that that's what's happened to Alexis Sanchez. He burnt out. And yeah, we didn't exactly get the greatest of deals because we got Henrik Mkhitaryan. The only thing he did at Arsenal was announce Aubameyang. And that was about it. But I think that may well be it. Would Manchester United be allowed to, you know, sell Alexis? Who would sign Alexis? You know, he's gone to Italy, which is not difficult in comparison to the Premier League. You look at the players that have gone over to Inter Milan as well. Look at Lukaku, he's absolutely flying. Even Ashley Young was doing all right when he signed for him. So, yeah, I'm not too sure whether it'll work out for him at Manchester United, but we will wait and see. So, there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. As you can tell, I'm a little bit wound up today already. It's Monday morning and yeah, people have really annoyed me over the course of the weekend by their actions. Liverpool, Kyle Walker. Seriously, there's some selfish pigs around, man. Let me know in the comment section what you think of today's topics. Also, if you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.